This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, there we go. The conference has started recording. Now, today's class, if you remember, we will talk about how to integrate an Amazon Web Service with Salesforce, right? So, all the SOAP program has been written by Amazon. They will give us the WSDL file. Using the WSDL given by the Amazon, we will interact with AWS application. The way in the last class, I showed you how to create a web service, how to create a web service from Salesforce and give it to a third party people so that they can create, they can pass the data to us from whenever they are take the program, they should be able to use that web service to do the activities or to do the transaction in our application. Similarly, what we will do is that Amazon has created a web service. They will give us a web service to us. By taking that web service, I'm going to utilize, I'm going to show you how can we create an Amazon application. Now, there are a couple of things. First thing, right? This is the Amazon link which I'm sharing with you one by one. Nobody will share this link with anyone. This is a paid software. Remember that. Right? I see that people are just creating Rishi, India, right? These are paid software, guys. It's not a free. Amazon AWS hosting is not a free. It's a paid. Remember this very well, right? So please, before you start bombarding this whole area, right? Have little bit of, right? Okay, I've deleted everything. I've pinged you the link over the chat window. This is the application link. This is the application link. I have created a simple application in Amazon where you have a field and a button. Name, I can say Rupam. Country, India. Occupation, solution architect. Age, 35. I click on this add button and automatically get adds to the table. A very simple application using a Java Spring. Using a Java Spring was created. Different technology, we don't know. We don't know Java Spring. This is an ABAP. Let's assume this is a SAP system. We don't know ABAP programming. They created this whole software. Now, from Salesforce, I have to create something here. I asked the Amazon, hey, Amazon, there is a requirement where I have to create, as soon as account is created, a contact is created, immediately this table also has to be updated. How can I do that? Amazon told, okay, don't worry, we will write a program and we will give it to you. They will write the program in what? They will write the program in their language. The way we have written the programming in our Apex language, they will write, if it's SAP, they will write in ABAP language. If it's AWS, they will write in Java Spring. And then they will give me a web service. Where is this web service? That link also I'm giving you. This is the WSDL. This link is also I'm giving you. Amazon told me, hey, Rupam, we have written a program for you, a WSDL file. Use this WSDL to insert a data in our database. Whenever you want to insert a data, use this WSDL to insert a data. I said, hey, Amazon, it's not only insertion, we also need delete, update. Don't worry. In this single program, we have written all insertion, deletions, everything. Use this program. I'll say, okay, thank you. They gave me a link. They gave me the link. What I will do? First, I will right click and I will click on save as. I will save in your folder, C drive, right? C drive. What was that? What was that? Integration 80, 88, and 90. What was that? I will say AWS, Amazon, right? AWS SOAP dot WSDL dot WSDL. I save it. Done. This link work is over. When I go to my C drive, right? When I go to my C drive, right? Okay, it opened there, sorry. When I opened my C drive, I go to your folder. What was that? This one. There, I will be able to see a WSDL, AWS SOAP, AWS SOAP WSDL. Okay. What is the next step? First step is that AWS will give you a WSDL file. They will give you a link actually. On that link, both the link I have pinged you, application link, WSDL link. Everybody got it? Everybody got it? Everybody got it? Right? Person service, because I've created a person table. Yes or no? You guys got it or not?
Yes, Rupam.
Yes,
Okay. So
Yes, Rupam.
from the second link, I downloaded the WSDL. Right? Now, let's come to Salesforce. Right? www, sorry, login.salesforce.com. I come there. I say Rupam @ what was that? We are using LT04. Is that .com? Password CRM1234 hash. CRM1234 hash. Right? CRM1234 hash. Right? So now the second step. First, we got the WSDL from the way we created a class program and we generated a WSDL. Similarly, they created a class, they generated a WSDL. They gave us that link. The way we can give a link, they can also give us a link. They gave a link, we right click on it, we save the file. Right? Everybody knows how to get the link, right? Last time we did that. Custom code, last class, Apex classes, right? When I scroll down, I created a web service where you can see that you click on WSDL, this is the link. You will give this link to everyone. They can right click, they can save it, and they can use it in their programming. But now it's opposite. Amazon gave me a WSDL. What I have to do? I have to go to the class. I have to say generate WSDL. Generate from WSDL. Generate from WSDL. Choose the file. I have to choose the Amazon file. Where is the Amazon file? It is in your right C drive here, and I can see that this is the WSDL. I say open. Right? I click on parse. No error. It will create a class called as com person web service. It will create a class called as com person web service. I said okay. Generate an equivalent Apex code. Now system is generating this two. It's created this two class. Two class it created. Two classes it created. Control C. Right? Notepad. They gave the file. From the file, I imported the file in my Salesforce. While importing it, system created two files equivalent. There are two things. Okay. I click on done. Now it created what? It created two files. What are those? Right? One is, what are the name of those? One is async person service, com person service. Here it is. Com person service. Let's open and see. Okay. Public com request. Right? There are so many things. You have to read this. You have to understand this. Right? Public class person, integer age, integer ID, string name, string country, string. So whenever I'm sending the data, I have to send in this format. Okay, that's good. Right? Get all, update. This is for updating person. Right? What is this? I don't know. Right? Scrolling down. So you have to understand this first. Okay. right? Where you'll understand this. Amazon will provide a documentation. What exactly this class is doing? What are the methods it's doing? You have to provide. You have written a method, right? Last class we have written a method. So what is that method will do? What is the method parameters? All these are right. See, response x equals to response dot response. It is written in the response. See, it has an endpoint URL, HTTP service. See, everything is predefined. Everything is predefined. In this class itself, the endpoint URLs are defined. Everything is pre-written. See, endpoint underscore x. What is the endpoint? Com dot person dot web service dot. See, endpoint is there. Already everything is pre-written, right? Your whole class has been pre-written. Perfect, Rupam, right? Now what should we do? Right? Perfect, Rupam, right? What should we do? Right? What should we do? Now, okay, that's really good. So when you import it, right? When we import, we got imported. Okay, I'm just seeing we imported this, right? Perfectly fine. We imported it, right? So now after import, what we'll do, right? After import, right? How can we now use this class? I can write a separate class to use this class. I can write a separate class to use this class. I can write a separate class to use this class, right? So I can write a separate class to use this class. So perfectly fine. While import, right? Let's import again. Generate from WSDL, right? Choose the file. I'm repeating the same task again. I'll tell you the reason why, right? Click pass, no problem. Change the name. It's too much big name. Change the name. It's too much big name. Able to understand? Change the name. I can change the name, right? I can change this name. Why I'm taking this name? I can take AWS underscore, okay? Example is there, so I'll take AWS example. While importing, I'm changing the name, you see that? Because if I don't change the name, it will create by its own name. I will be confused. Now only I confused. So that it is created a class called as com person, async com person web service person SVC. That is the reason I'm giving my own name called AWS example. Click generate. System will create AWS example. See, same thing I did earlier. I just imported raw. Now I'm changing the name. What is my class name? AWS example and async AWS example. Async AWS example. Perfect. I say done. I've imported the class. I would be able to see, right? Async AWS example and AWS example. Two classes I have. Always the class with that name is important, not the async. Async is not important for us. Async is a backend. Front end is this, right? Front end is this. Now let's see. What I will do is that first let me create, without writing a class, I will go ahead and create in AWS. In AWS, only two data is there. I'm refreshing again. Currently there is only, somebody deleted. Okay, right. Currently there is only one data. Currently there is only one data. Through a Salesforce, I will insert one data now. Keep on watching. How I can write a class. But let us, whatever we can write in a class, can't we write in a developer console? Yes, right? Can't I write in a developer console? Yes. Let's go ahead and write in a developer console. Close everything. I'm closing everything. Everybody understood what I'm doing? I just imported the WSDL with my own name called AWS example. I'm going to debug. I click on open execute anonymous. I remove everything. From here, Can I run an Apex code? Yes. If I write a class, then I have to write a Visual Force page, or I have to write a trigger, right? To run a class, right, I have to write a Visual Force page or a trigger. So let me done from here. What was the class name that we created? We created AWS example. I told you this is the main. Don't take the async. Async is never main. It will create mostly two. Whichever has the original name, take that, AWS. AWS example, right? P or AWS equals to new AWS equals to new AWS. Did I create this class? No. I imported this class from where? From the WSDL. Now I will write my own program in my own language. I don't even know what language they have written. They have written in ABAP. They have written in .NET. It was written in jQuery. It was written in Spring. It was written in Ruby on Rails. It was written in Python. I don't care, right? I will just, I know the language Apex. I will write in Apex, right? What are the data? Let's go ahead and check it out. In the person, whenever you are saying person, you see that login, username and password. I have to call the login class. Okay. Next, not update, not delete. I want to add a person. Whenever you add a person, right, you have to form a string. What is that? Right? Add a person, add a person, add a person. Here is the person class. You have to add age, right? Age, you have to add already declared age is an integer, ID is an integer, right? Then string is a name. So let's go ahead by looking at it format, right? Next, AWS, AWS dot what? Dot age equals to how much? It's a number field there. So don't put in apostrophe, 55. Next, AWS dot, what was that? Name equals to what? Name equals to, what is that? SALESFORC, Salesforce Ready. His name is Salesforce Ready, right? Name. Next, colon, AWS dot country. AWS dot country equals to what? Countries was a string. Always keep on checking. Country is a string. That's good. Occupation. Country. Country is what? Country is IN, the Great India. The Great India. That's the country. Next, AWS dot, what was that? Occupation. Oh, CC. Yes. Any questions? Somebody unmuting the mic. Occupation. Occupation. AWS dot occupation equals to what? Equals to, right? SFDC developer. SFDC, right? Right? SFDC developer, right? SFDC developer, whatever it is, right? Done. Now, next what? Next what? Next what? Now I have to log in. For that, I have to call the login class. Oh, sorry. I have to call the login class. Username and password is defined where? Username and is defined where? In the header element. You can see that. Username and password. This is the login. It's a password authentication. It's a password authentication. It's what authentication? Password authentication. What is the password? Do I know? AWS. AWS. I created long back. I saved it. AWS OBB. Right. Perfect. Here is the password. Control C. I'm pasting. Don't. Nobody will change the password username. Right. So just use it. Now I pinged you over the Skype. Sorry, over the GoToMeeting. Now, what is that? I have to call this class called header element. Inside that, I have to pass the username and password. That's it. Rest it will take care. I don't mind. So I go to my developer console again. Now, what I will do, I will go ahead and I will say AWS example. AWS example. I made a mistake. AWS example dot. I made a mistake. It was person. So dot person. In the AWS, there is a class called as person equals to AWS dot person, a new class. AWS is the whole class name. Inside that there is a method called person. So class name dot method name AWS equals to new class name dot method name, and I'm passing those parameters to the method. Similarly, AWS dot, what was the method? See that all the methods are visible here. Person we have taken. We will take what? We will take what? Next header element, not login. I will take header element. I want to pass it in the header. Header element. What is that? Head. I'm giving a name called head. Equals to what? New. New what? Right? AWS example. Dot. Again, header element. I'm creating. Now in the header element, you can see the program. In the header, you can pass username and password. Okay. Rupam, let me pass. So head dot, head dot, head dot what? Let me go to the program. Head dot user ID. In the program, they are using user ID. In the program, they are using the user ID. Wait, let me close this. Okay. In the program, they are using the user ID. Head dot user ID equals to what? I told you my user ID is test. User ID is test. Test. Next, head dot, head dot, head dot what? Let's see the program. Password. Control C. Head dot password equals to, what was the password? Password is welcome. Password is welcome. Password is welcome. Perfect. Now my data is defined, right? I have to push it. Push it. Let me go and see which service is going to create, right? Which service is going to create update? We don't want. Person service soap 11. What is this? Endpoint is this, right? This, right? What is this? Request, person response. There is a map it's creating. Then it is using put this request, right? Add person response. Okay, look like that. It's okay. Anything else we'll see. This is update. No, not of use. This is what? To get all the person, not of use, right? To get person, not of use. Delete person, not of use, right? Okay, once again from the top, let us see. Person response, delete, not of use. Add person request. Add person request, right? AWS example, person P, type is this, new P, add person request. Okay, so that's good. This looks to be useful for us, but why I will go ahead add person request, right? All person element. You have to read these classes very well. For that, you have to read the document. Complete AWS document you have to read. Delete, update, add person response element, get person response element, header element in the header, right? In the person, I'm passing the person, get all person element, right? Update, person soap service 11. Here, this looks to be whatever the password is there, right? All some password X. Okay, this looks to be good, right? This looks to be good. For that, you have to read the document, guys. Why I'm selecting this Rupam? Wait, let's see whether I get error or not, right? I will say AWS, AWS. Okay, let me copy this. AWS example dot. What I was taking? I was taking what? I was looking for person soap service 11. right? I will say equals to, what is this? Create person, CP, create person equals to new. Always you have to initialize this. New what? Copy all, copy all, right? This. Then in this, I have the header. I have, let me see. In this, what I have? I have endpoint URL already defined. Map input header. Okay. X. I'm just checking it out. What is the parameter? Whenever I'm calling it, right? I'm saying dot person, right? Right. Let me check it out. Public example, add person response. Okay. Add person. AWS person, it's taking from person, so I have to add the, we have already called this class person, so I have to pass it to that. Okay, right. Next, let me check it out. AWS dot example add person response. Okay, right. uh, right. Next, I'm seeing response where it's giving add person, add person, add person, add person. Where is the header? Do you see anywhere the header? Person header? Anywhere some header? Okay. String. In single word, write string. String, private string header. Private string header hyphen ans. Okay. This header. Let's go to the person. And the person is there. Let's go to right. Go to, let's go forward and up. It's quite tedious. You have to understand all these, right? Example person login. Okay, person equals to all person, username and password already I gave this, right? Because this class will be again called inside another class, right? Update person I don't need, right? Header element. In the header, what is there? Username and password already I have made the header element, right? How can I pass the header? In my program I have defined now, right? Person and header. How can I pass it to this SOAP service is my question now. So that's exactly I'm looking. SOAP service, read this service well. Endpoint is here. Input header. Output also is header. Certificate name, I don't need. AWS header element is equals to header. Okay. Person header, string person header. String, there's one person header, right? Then I have a string person header. What else? Right. I'm scrolling down, right? Element, I'm just saying, okay, person header is a string. Let us declare this first. String person header. String person header. Okay. I'm just seeing anything else here. String person response. Right. How it's made. Response equals new response. Amazon request. Right. Person use person mapping. Person response. Okay. Let's go ahead. So I will say CP dot CP. Why the system is not giving the help? CP dot CP dot AWS dot person soap 11 CP. Now when I say CP, system should give me the help, right? CP dot enter CP dot, okay, PERSON person header HEADER equals to whatever the header that I created. My header is head. My header is head. Next, CP dot, not giving it, CP dot add person. This is what I observed from there, my experience, equals to, where is my person? My person is called as what? AWS. AWS. Not so. In this I will give, okay, because that is the way I observe the method. That is the way the method was written. My AWS is my person. Let me check this method again, right? AWS, see example person, right? So on the response, right? Everywhere, this is the way the program is written. I can see, right? In this aws.example.person, see aws.example.person, aws.example.person p. In our case, aws example.person is what? AWS. That's the reason I gave AWS, right? I gave AWS. Next, person, right? Okay, request element, right? AWS, right? Next, right? AWS example dot header element dot header. So that AWS, look for this AWS dot header element percent header. In our program also, AWS dot header element, right? This one, our is head. So person header I'm passing as head. Person header I'm passing at head, right? AWS example dot header, person header, person header I'm passing at add person header, right? Okay, let's do one thing. I know that you guys are quite confused. Rupam, what you're doing, right? Nothing is going inside. I know that you're doing something, right? We are able to understand something, but okay, wait. Let me execute this first. Execute. There's an error. What is that error? Setup remote site setting. We didn't add it. In the remote site setting, we have to add. What we have to add? We have to add this link. Which link? Endpoint URL. Where is our endpoint URL? Right? This is our endpoint URL. This is our endpoint URL. Control C. Where I have to add? Right? I have to add where? In the security remote site setting. Unless until I add anything to the remote site setting, it will not work. So I have to add it, the AWS also. So let me go ahead and add. Let me go ahead and add. So new remote site. What I will say? I will say it's AWS. AWS. I'll add it. I say, okay, system had added it. Now let's go to our method. I click on execute. Let me see the log. What happened? Success. Okay. Let us first check the log, whether everything is okay or not. I just want to see AWS true or false, right? I'm just checking out list size 6, too large to display. Okay, no problem, right? Too large to display, fine, right? System is calling. I want to see, scroll down. I want to see, right? AWS person service. Okay, I want to see the URL it's calling or not. com.19 more. Here it is calling the URL. Okay, it's calling the URL. Perfect, fine. On the URL, is it passing the data? Yes, you can see that. Age equals to 55, right? It is passing. Country equals to India, the great India. It's passing. See, it's creating a, automatically it's creating, see this line. Whatever the class I created, it created a JSON, right? Next, is it this, it's passing this JSON. I'm just checking it. Okay, web service, right, okay, perfectly fine. Yes, person age 55, it's passing. Okay, it's passing. Let us go and see Amazon Web Service now. I come to my AWS. When I press refresh, see that Salesforce ready, the great India developer 55. See, automatically the ID got created. We have inserted a Salesforce. We have inserted this, right? This is what we inserted. See, the data is matching. Salesforce Reddy, the Great India SFDC developer. Age 55. I gave 55, 55. See, from a Salesforce, by downloading the web service through the web service, what is happening actually, right? Let's understand what is happening actually. Paint, right? Paint. All the endpoint URL, everything, right? So what I did, this is Amazon, AWS. This is AWS. AWS. This whole is AWS, right? AWS. Amazon Web Service, right? They gave us a WSDL. Amazon gave us a WSDL. This is the WSDL. WSDL. This is the WSDL. What Amazon gave us. From where did they create the WSDL? Inside their AWS, they have written a program class. A class was written the way we have written a class. From that class, they generated WSDL. They gave me that WSDL. Now this is Salesforce. This is Salesforce. This is Salesforce. The green one is Salesforce. SFDC. This is Salesforce. We took this, whatever the WSDL they gave, we imported it. From there, we created two classes. After you import, I will say import. IMPORT. You imported it. Whatever was there, right? You imported it. Whatever the WSDL was given, you imported it in Salesforce. While importing, it created a class. What was the class name? It created a class called as Amazon example. It created a class called as Amazon example. It created a class called as Amazon example. Inside this class, there are so many methods. Method 1, method 2, method 1 starting, method 1 ending. Like this, there are so many methods were there. Did I write this? No. M2, there was a method 2. So many methods are there. Let it be small. So many methods were there inside the class. Like this, so many methods are there. In the method, the parameters are defined, right? What I'm doing, I'm going to a developer console, right? I went to the developer console, and what I did, I called this class name dot method name. This is exactly what I did. AFW and the method name is person. And then I passed the value. Here, what I did, I just call the method, right, and pass the value. I pass the value 55, comma, some name, comma, all these things we did. Rupam, we passed it. Where the data is going? Data is going to this class and method. Whenever you're executing, there is an M2 method where already a posting command is written. They only requested, see the way we write HTTP goes to new HTTP dot response, everything they have written. We are just passing the value. These are all written. We are just passing the value. And finally, we are calling this person service soap. Whenever I call this person, this requires the login. This requires the data. To this service, there's a method, right? Here, there's a method. This is one of the method. Inside the AWS, there's a one method. The way we have M2, M3, there is one method like this. There was a method like this. There was a method like this. In this method, if you pass, automatically this particular method will call this particular method will call Amazon. This particular method is calling Amazon. They are not disclosing how they are calling, right? This particular method will call the Amazon and it will create. So our work is what? Only to pass the data to the respective methods. Our work is only to pass the data to the respective methods. Our work is what? Only to pass the data. Our method, our is only to pass the data to the respective method. Once we pass the data to the respective method, immediately that method will do all the work and it will create through the where is the web endpoint URL? On the endpoint URL, it will only pass the data to this class, whatever is written in Java Spring, and I can see the output. I can see the output. We are passing it and we can see the output here. 55 Rupam. 55 Rupam. See, we can see the data here. So rather than they giving us the link endpoint URL, right? What I'm doing, they are giving us a class. I am passing the value to the class. This class is automatically contacting the AWS. This class has an endpoint URL defined. This class has a header defined. This class has a get defined. This class has a response defined. We are just passing the value to the class. That's it. Once we pass the value to the class will know what to do. It goes ahead and creates. We are not doing anything big, guys. Right? We are not doing anything big. Right? Are we doing anything big? Are we doing anything big? No. Are we doing anything big? No. Understood now what I'm doing? Understood the logic? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
You understood the logic, right? How it's working? Others able to understand the logic? Yes or no? Right, Rupam, how did you know which method to use? How do you know which method to use? You have to go to the Amazon documentation, guys. Amazon AWS documentation. Go to Google, type AWS, right? SOAP API documentation, developer guide. You have to open this documentation. You have to read the documentation. Complete documentation have to use. What are the complete documentation you have to read? Whenever I make a request, to what I make a request, right? They will give a diagram for this. You have to understand this documentation, right? You have to understand, you have to read this documentation thoroughly, right? Right? How can you set, see, Ruby, Rails, so many things are there using AWS SDK from Java, right? You have to use those services. You have to read this documentation completely. Then only you will be able to understand. Integration is all on documentation. Using all on this documentation. You can download a PDF. All on documentation. Right? Either you can download the AWS service, read the service completely thoroughly. 854 page. You have to first read how the structure looks, how the call is made, right? What is the default structure, right? I'm using a SOAP API. They give a REST API also. right? How the structure looks. That is their classes. See that they're giving you the class also. What the class is doing, right? What is the class each classes are doing. They gave a complete program. How in their system it's created, right? Complete programs are given to you. You have to read this. It will take time for you to understand. It's not that easy integration. Always in integration, most of the time spends on reading. Writing a program is 1 or 2 days work. Reading, understanding the whole documentation is a work of 10 days, 15 days. You have to understand. In the class, what I did, I understood by going in the method itself. Read, read the method, each line, try to understand what this method is doing. Try to understand by reading. It's quite difficult, but yes, you have to understand, right? Try what it's doing. Based on that, try to write your program. So that this program I would have written in long way, but I have written in the shortest way. I have written in the shortest way. I created a person, I created the user and password, and I pushed it to the method. That's it. Method is taking care. Method is taking care. Now, let's do the program full-fledged. Let's do the program full-fledged. Right? Let's do the program full-fledged. Copy this. This is working program. Once the program is working, oh, not here. Once the program is working, I can write a class, right? Class, Apex class. What is that? AWS, right? Person insert. Now I'm writing AWS person insert. Always write global, GLOBL. It might give error, but I'll be showing you the structure. Execution is not my output of this whole is not execution, but to make you understand how to write. So what are the variables I have? I have age. What was the age? Right? Go to the class and check it out. Age. What is the age? Age is integer. So you also have to declare an integer. I will say public int integer age. Public integer age. I will say get set. Get set. Perfect. Next, what else? Control C. What else? What were the data I want? See that now I'm writing a full-fledged integration program. Right? Name. It is not integer, it's a string. Next, what else? Let's go to the program. String, then country string, occupation string. Then string, country. Next what? Next, occupation. Next what? It's a string. All are string data type. Right? Name also small. Age also small. Done. All get set, get set, get set. What happened? Any problem? Control S. Any problem? Right? What is that? Oh,
Bracket missing.
right, bracket
Line number
missing.
6.
Yeah, bracket missing. Perfect. Get set, get set, get set. Done. Now I will write a method. Public, right? Public, public, void, right? Void what? Create, create, create AWS person. Create AWS person. Create AWS person. What are the things I have to do? Right? I've already copied the code here. Where is my code here? Same thing I'll copy. Control C. In fact, I will copy the whole inside this method. Right? Can I save it? Yes. Let's see. No error. See that. Right? Age. Age equals to what? Age. Right? Name equals to name. I'm mapping, see that now. Name. Country equals to country. Right? Occupation is equals to occupation. Button. Next, username, I'll not change. Next, I'm passing it to the method. Method is taking care. Control S. Simple, my class is written. Now I'll write a Visual Force page. New Visual Force page. What is that? AWS, right? AWS PRS1 person create, right? Apex controller. Control equals to what? This class name. Control equals this class name. Perfect, right? Next, APEX Apex form. Apex form. Inside this, Apex page block. Apex PAG page BLO. Apex page block. Right? Apex page block. I will say title. Title was create employee. Employee. I'm creating an employee. Next, inside this, Apex page block section. Title. Title equals to what? Title equals to, oh, title equals to what? Right? EMP details. Right? Then Apex INPUT input text label. Label equals to ENT enter EMP name. Value. Value equals to what? Value equals to exclamation get set name. Get set name. Control S. Perfectly fine. No error anywhere. Copy. Paste. 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 Employee age. Employee country. Employee profession. Right? So age will go to the age. Age. Right? Next. Country will go to the country. Occupation will go to the profession. Perfect. Now command button. APEX Apex command button. Value SUBMIT submit. Action. Action equals to, I'll call the method. Control S. Click on preview. This is my page. But whenever I fill here, it will go there. It will go to where? Same form. This form I just created in Visual Force. Employee name Ravi Chandra. Ravi Chandra. Employee age 22. Country, right? INDIA India. Profession SOFT software DEV Dev 2. Software, okay. Soft DEV Dev 2. Click submit. Come to AWS. Press refresh. Can you see Ravi Chandra there? Can you see Ravi Chandra there? from this page, from a Visual Force page. Now I'm pushing the data to where? To AWS, right? I'm pushing the data to AWS. I'm pushing the data to AWS. I want to push it to my table also, my custom table. I have created an employee table. There also it has to be pushed. Don't worry. Go to the program, right? Here, employee equals to new employee, and map it. Insert employee. Employee will be inserted, as well as it is making a call. AWS is making a call. Understood now? Understood now? Understood now? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right? I have pinged you the username and password also. So see how we integrated Salesforce with AWS. You're filling the form, and you're filling the form where? In Visual Force. Data is created where? Not in Salesforce. It's getting created in AWS. Amazon Web Service table, it's getting created. Right? Name anything. NARENDRA, Narendra Modi. Age 60. PM. Country INDIA. Submit. Come to your person page. Refresh the person page. See. Narendra Modi, India, PM 60. Got. So this is how you're interacting with your Amazon Web Service. This is how you're interacting with what? Amazon Web Service. Amazon Web Service. Clear now? Yes. Right? This is AWS. Simple. First of all, whenever you want to integrate, you need to get the, either if you want to implement through a GET, you need to know the endpoint URL, you need to know the structure. Another way is that what? Giving a WSDL file, WSDL file. Whenever somebody give a WSDL file, this is the way we write the program. WSDL is to make your life simple, right? If you write directly the integration, in that case, direct and via WSDL, two-way. If you write direct, then you have to form the endpoint URL. Do you remember? We have to form the endpoint URL. We have to do everything here, so that I'm doing nothing. I'm just doing the mapping, and I'm passing to the method, right? I'm passing it to the method. I'm directly passing to the method, and method is taking care of everything. I'm not at all doing anything. Method is taking care of everything. This is the importance of WSDL file, right? In real time, which one is used? Both. You can get, some company give WSDL, some company say that, sorry, we don't have a developer to write WSDL. We'll give you the endpoint URL, we'll give you the structure. The way Utrace didn't give a WSDL. The way currency converter didn't give it WSDL. They gave us endpoint URL and the structure, where we only did everything. For them, we have written the program. But here they says, don't worry, we will write the program and we'll give it to you. You just call the program, pass the data. We will write the program and we'll give it to you. You just map the data, pass the data, and you just pass the data, and we will take care of it. So, making our life easy, right? This is how the integration is done. You have to read the things thoroughly. Next class, I will show you Chatter API. Next class, I will show you Chatter API. Right? I will show you Chatter API, how to write a Chatter API. Then I will give you the documentation of streaming API. Then your integration ends. We have seen how to connect Salesforce via REST through an endpoint URL. We have seen how to connect by a SOAP WSDL. So we have seen how to connect by endpoint URL. We have seen how to connect by WSDL. Next, I will show you how to write a Chatter API and streaming API. Right? I will also share the program for LinkedIn, Facebook. It will not work, I told you, but I will still share the program with you. It will be blocked, but still you can go ahead and you can write the program. I will share the program with you. I will take the screenshot from the previous class and I'll share that with you. Right? The program which I have already written. I will share the program so that you can write the program. You'll understand, don't worry, endpoint URL only. Right? WSDL we do very rarely. In real time, 90% of your integration will be through endpoint URL. So that's somebody giving a file. Our system should have a capability to import the file, convert the file. Every system doesn't have that big technology. So hence, in real time, 95% greater integration is through URL only, endpoint URL. Whatever we have seen in the previous classes, everywhere, endpoint URL. Through WSDL file, through WSDL file, rarely these days it is done. Clear? Yes. Understood? Right? I gave you the link. Right? The program is here in your login. You can start doing the practice. Now, similarly, try to delete. To delete, you need to have this ID. How can I delete, Rupam? We need this ID, 26. Delete 26. It will delete. I will delete. Retrieve. Whenever I click on get employee, I will create a button here. I'm giving you the homeworks now. In my Visual Force page, where is that? In my Visual Force page, I should have one more button here called get details. As soon as I click on get details, I should get a table here. The same table what I see in AWS, I want the table to be visible in here. Retrieve the details. So write a program to retrieve the details, write a program to delete. I want two buttons, delete, retrieve. System should be able to delete it, system should be able to retrieve it. Clear now? Do this program. That's it for today, right? Let's meet tomorrow. We will see streaming API as well as we will see Chatter API, right? So till then, have a nice and wonderful day, guys. Bye-bye.